All right, what's up, everybody? As you know, there's one team that I know best from all the NFL franchises, and that's the Minnesota Vikings. So this episode is specifically about the Minnesota Vikings, and actually, I'm going to talk about the way it seems like they've handled everything between J.J. McCarthy and now Carson Wentz coming in, and just an overall big picture direction of the franchise, because there's been a couple things that some local media have been saying and stuff that's kind of bothered me. So we start with McCarthy. So they drafted McCarthy pretty high. He's a first-round draft pick. Last year, he gets to sit out because of his injury. So he sits behind Sam Darnold. And it seemed like the plan was we're going to start Sam Darnold the whole year anyway. So that seemed to be the plan all along, unless obviously Darnold either didn't look good at all or got injured. So last year essentially is a wash. This becomes now his quote-unquote rookie year. Now, we should know this. The expectations on rookie or first-time quarterbacks should not be that high. Think about it. Jaden Daniels, we raved about. CJ Stroud, we raved about. Wow, incredible. What historic rookie seasons these guys had. And what did they do with those rookie seasons? I'm not trying to take away from them, but they won one playoff game. That's it. Jaden Daniels needed 3 more wins to win a Super Bowl. So if you are talking about the Vikings winning a Super Bowl this year with J.J. McCarthy as a first-time starter, I'm not saying it's impossible, but I'm saying that would be unheard of because that does not typically happen. Yes, you can make every argument you want. And I agree with it. The roster is built. They have a great defense, great weapons. 100% agree with all of that. I'm just stating the fact that that would be pretty unreal and unheard of for a essentially first-time starting quarterback to have that kind of opening season, let's say, as a first-time starter. So now he struggles the first 2 weeks, and a big part of that, I think, is because he wasn't set up to succeed. I think, the play calls are 5-step drops, 7-step drops. Where the quick three-step drops? This is where the play is at. Throw it right here. That's what's going to be open for you. Kevin O'Connell, I love. Great head coach. But if you're the quarterback guru, let's do that. Now we're doing 5-step, 7-step drops with an offensive line that, quite frankly, sucked in that second game against the Atlanta Falcons. And that's the situation we put McCarthy in. Now, did he play great? No, he did not. Did he make mistakes? Absolutely. But overall, if you're committed to this plan of the Vikings are going to, have their Super Bowl window with J.J. McCarthy and all that, then at this point, there is no doubt about it. And I mean this, that when he is healthy, he better be in there. I don't care how Carson Wentz is playing. And this is the part with the local media and just media overall that has been bothering me is when they say, well, guys signed here to win a Super Bowl. And so you got guys that are not going to be on with the ship if you're starting McCarthy over a successful Carson Wentz. First of all, if you're talking about a long-term window of the franchise, who cares what the other guys have to think? It's their job to play football and try to win. And frankly, I don't know which one other than probably Harrison Smith. And even though I love Harrison Smith, I don't actually know where he was going to get signed to a lucrative contract. But I would say he would be the only one that I feel like took a pay cut or is making a sacrifice to be a Minnesota Viking. People are talking about, Jonathan Allen came here and Javon Hargrave came here to win a Super Bowl. Did they? They came to Minnesota, a team that last year got smacked in the first round of the playoffs, to win a Super Bowl with J.J. McCarthy, a guy that was unproven. No, they came to Minnesota because they got paid in Minnesota. They came to Minnesota because maybe they liked Brian Flores and the defense and what they could do there. But they did not come to Minnesota with the sole purpose, like as if they sacrificed big paydays somewhere else to come to Minnesota to win a Super Bowl. And now it's a disservice to them to start your young quarterback over Carson Wentz. Like, miss me with that. Jonathan Grenard from Houston came to Minnesota because he got paid in Minnesota. And even if he had other offers, that's fine. But he still chose Minnesota, whatever his reasoning was. But if he himself thought, I'm going to sign with Minnesota to win a Super Bowl, please, this year with an unproven starter in J.J. McCarthy, that's just not how it goes, in my opinion. And frankly, so is Myles Garrett re-signing with the Cleveland Browns because to win a Super Bowl? Guys, This is their livelihood. This is their profession. We got to understand that. These guys are at work when they're playing football. I'm not saying they don't have passion. I'm not saying they don't want to win. Absolutely. But the bottom line is the bottom line. If the Vikings were selling free agents on, man, don't take a big contract somewhere else. Come with us because we have a better chance and we have a great chance to win the Super Bowl. Show me the guy that's not going to sign with the other team and get the big contract. You're talking about, you think Justin Simmons, the defensive tackle that's playing in Tennessee, so it's a disservice to him to start Cam Ward? No. The Titans are trying to build, and their big focus is Cam Ward. We got to give him those reps to get him prepared to be our franchise quarterback so we can have a Super Bowl window. Now, if he's tremendous and that Super Bowl window can start now or next year, wonderful. But that is our main goal as a franchise. And everything the Vikings have done in the past 3-4 seasons with Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah and Kevin O'Connell has told you we are thinking long-term to find our franchise quarterback and build a roster around that young franchise quarterback. So stick to the plan. If now suddenly you're going to start Carson Wentz for the rest of the season, first of all, sure, you have a chance, I guess, to win the Super Bowl. You had a chance last year with Sam Darnold too. But if Carson Wentz flames out and this season doesn't end up in the Super Bowl, you just wasted a year of a Super Bowl window with J.J. McCarthy, which was your whole plan that you've been preaching to the fan base and everybody. So that part of it really, really doesn't sit well with me. And this is the quote that Kevin O'Connell made, asked if he would be, if J.J. McCarthy would have his job back, essentially, as soon as he came back from his high ankle sprain. Here's what he said.
Is the idea of no matter how much.
All right. So he's kind of, circling around what we really need to hear, which is as soon as J.J. McCarthy's healthy, he will be our starting quarterback. That's what he should be saying. So I'm not really a fan of this. And there was another quote, obviously, where he was saying now is not the time to answer that question. No, now is the time. That's when you're supposed to show confidence in your whole plan that you've put together since you drafted him. So I don't like the way this is heading. And the way I see it heading right now is that they are essentially going to milk this injury and try to see how Carson Wentz plays. And it baffles me that the Viking organization would kind of do this. This just seems like instant gratification, way of running the organization when they were supposed to be plotting for the future. So again, obviously nothing has been set in stone, but I don't like it. They already ruled out J.J. McCarthy for this week's game against the Steelers. I don't like that they ruled him out either, because maybe you shouldn't baby the rookie quarterback if you're trying to let him know what it's like to be an NFL quarterback. You're going to have to play through injuries, and you're going to have to essentially tough it out. And I'm not blaming McCarthy here. I think McCarthy, like O'Connell said, if he could play right now, if we allowed him to, he would. Well, I'm not saying let him go out there the day after he sprained his ankle, but if he's out of the boot, I saw him running down the sidelines on that Isaiah Rodgers interception return, jumping around. So maybe he's not that injured, and we can start putting him in there. Otherwise, and just call it what it is and say it's a soft benching. But I don't like this this kind of towing the line responses. And I get it. It's coach speak, and this is what coaches do. But when it's the head coach of my favorite team, it really irritates me because I don't like it. He's going to have to go through growing pains. And if you're going to start Carson Wentz for the rest of the year, then you essentially better win the Super Bowl. Because if you don't win the Super Bowl, you completely derailed a big picture plan. Because next year is JJ McCarthy essentially doing the same thing and being a first-time starter, which in my opinion means that's not a Super Bowl year. Because he's got to get these reps. He's got to make the mistakes. He's got to get his feet wet. Now, you as a coach can help him in guiding him while getting his feet wet with easier throws, easier play calls, running the football, which now you have your offensive line back. But this isn't going to help him. If he's going to sit there with a board, with a dry erase board on the sideline while Carson Wentz is taking the snaps, and sure, maybe we are winning some games, but what happens then if Wentz goes down in week 15 and now you're going to throw your essentially rookie quarterback out there with 3 weeks before the playoffs and now expect him to have to play elite level football? No. This is his time right now, technically. And another thing, technically, if he wasn't ready, then you should have played him in the preseason and gave him some reps there. So I know I'm getting worked up over something that hasn't happened yet, but I'm just saying I can see the tea leaves starting to pile up. And for what they're saying and how it seems like they're saying the ankle injury, we'll see how he gets right. Like they were like, no, if he's healthy the night before the game, I'm not just going to throw him out there, which if that just means, hey, look, if he is fully cleared for practice on a Thursday, he's not going to play on Sunday. I want him to have a full week of practice. Then say it like that, and that's totally fine. If today it was announced like JJ McCarthy is cleared for a full contact practice or cleared for practice, then just say, yeah, he got cleared today, but I don't think 2 days preparation is enough for the game against the Steelers. He'll get back to practice and have a full week next week. But this ain't cutting it. And using the excuse also as guys came here and we owe it to the veteran players. Those veteran players, when they're free agents, are going to leave for another team for a better contract. Well, you're going to be stuck with a quarterback that hasn't been given a chance to develop. And I mean, again, it just doesn't make sense to me that this has been the Kwesi and KOC plan since they got to Minnesota, was to get that franchise quarterback and give him his reps and build from there and build a team around him. And now you're getting the chance. And just because Carson Wentz might win a couple games, you're going to derail that plan? That doesn't make sense to me. So again, I'm not accusing KOC or Kwesi for doing that, because as of now, they haven't done that. I do think McCarthy is still healing from his high ankle sprain. But if that happens, I will have a problem with it. And I also just wish that they would not tiptoe the line and be upfront in the press conferences and just say that McCarthy is their starting quarterback. Set the expectation now, because otherwise the drama starts to build up. Now you're even putting more pressure essentially on Carson Wentz to perform well because he wants to keep the starting job. So it's just not necessary. And I will trust that behind closed doors, there's a clear plan and know what they're doing, but I don't understand then why do this with the media and with essentially the fan base. So it's making me grow white hairs. Please don't do this. Just tell us McCarthy's a starter. You know, he's got to go through the reps. As soon as he's healthy and gets a full week of practice, you know, he will be our starting quarterback. And, Carson can keep doing what he's doing and hopefully give us the best chance to win while McCarthy's not there because he's hurt. So we'll see. We will see. I definitely hope they keep winning. I'm a Vikings fan first and foremost. Even if it's Carson Wentz for the rest of the year, I hope they win every game. But as, building a franchise goes, you are setting pressure on yourself now, because if Wentz does play well and they keep winning, you're doing the same thing that you did last year. It's pretty much Super Bowl or bust, because, all right, if you make the NFC Championship game, then are you resigning Carson Wentz? Then just admit failure and admit that drafting JJ McCarthy in the first round was not a good move because you wasted a first-round pick, essentially, because you could have just got Sam Darnold at that point and used that first-round pick for another lineman or whatever else the team needs. So I'm big on accountability. Just own up to it. So we'll see. Again, I'm getting a little worked up, but I'm getting nervous for how this is going. And I just want to see JJ McCarthy be given a chance to play with a full offensive line, with Jordan Addison, who's coming back this week, and we can't just keep doing this. You might have another injury in 2 weeks, and now are you going to say like, oh, well, McCarthy now doesn't have X player, so, make excuses for him. No, he's got to have to play through it. So it is what it is. Vikings fans, let me know what y'all think. I'm one of you guys. And maybe we disagree on the Wentz and McCarthy situation. If we do, let me know what y'all think. I'm all for the dialogue, and I'll keep popping in some time to talk specifically about the Vikings. And on to Ireland we go, and hope that the Vikings get it done against the Steelers. Skol Vikes.